Hello and welcome everybody to this new TIP webinar that we are doing today in order to introduce a new co-chair of the Open Optical and Packet Transport Project Group, Lloyd Mphahlele. Hello, Lloyd.
Hi, Arturo. How are you doing? It's an absolute pleasure to be here today.
Thank you, Lloyd. Well, for the rest of the audience, my name is Arturo Mayoral. I'm a technical program manager for TIP, especially for the Open Optical and Packet Transport Project Group. And we can start today just introducing Lloyd and asking that you can share with us a little bit your background so we can start the interview.
Yeah, no, thank you, Arturo. I think as a way of start, I'm excited to have received this nomination to be co-chair in OOPT. I think truly, it's a real honor. As indicated, briefly in your intro, Arturo, my name is Lloyd Mphahlele. I am the GM of Transport and OSS Tools in MTN Group. So I'm overseeing the technology strategy and architecture in this particular domains for our markets in Africa and the Middle East, most of them being in Africa. In terms of my own background, I have about 27 years of experience in the telco space, covering both fixed and the mobile domains. I've spent most of my time in transport, gaining experience in radio access, network and core, which is part of, the network space, transport RAN and core. I also have some experience, in IT and information security, owing to some of the group projects that I've led, since joining, MTN. I've also worked in two top telcos in South Africa, in both fixed and fixed and mobile, and now being in MTN, which means then this is three of them. So I've in this period I've had the opportunity to represent two of these entities internationally in my career. So yeah, quite a privilege. Thank you so much.
Such an honor to have you as a new co-chair, Lloyd. Just for the rest of the audience, just to let people know that Lloyd has been participating in OOPT for more than 4 years and has been also co-leading one of the most impactful subgroups within OOPT, which is called MAST. And I'm pretty sure that you are going to leverage all this experience in order to drive forward the project group in the next period. No? So we may start today just asking you what motivated you, which are the challenges that you observe in the industry that motivated you to step into the role of a co-chair in TIP.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Arturo. I mean, as you indicated, I've been in this journey for quite some time now. And having been in MAST, I've had a view of some of, the challenges being experienced within, OOPT. That's why it's such a privilege now, to be co-chair and just looking forward to addressing, some of these challenges that we have from an OOPT, perspective. So just to go through some of the challenges as you've asked, that has motivated me to be part of the project group. I think one of the big things was more the interoperability between existing vendors, of course, mainly by consolidation within, the supplier ecosystem. I mean, we spoke a lot about, the lock-in, from a vendor, perspective, and complexity and interoperability challenges that are introduced by the multi-vendor environments that most of the operators have. And I mean, I spoke about the consolidation earlier on, and some of the drawbacks of this is that it stifles innovation and competition, making it difficult for new technologies to gain traction. And I think some of the interesting things that we've seen, which were really unintended consequences of some of the work that we do, say with the likes of the introduction of technologies like the DCSG, we've seen that they've triggered, stronger price competition, in the market, and then in a way penalizing the new entrants. So some of the, the challenges that we have seen is the challenge of new disaggregation technologies interoperating with existing, NMSs, the network management systems. And I think for the operators, this is very, very key that if you're going to introduce a new technology such as, open and disaggregated, technology, it has to be able to function with the existing, network. So this has made the case for adoption of open standard interfaces and APIs to facilitate integration of, the multi-vendor, network. So this, has been a very, good experience, to have. I think from an MTN perspective specifically, we've got examples where we've went into the field and we've managed to integrate, the disaggregated solutions with the existing vendors on an NMS, level with some of the partners from the TIP community. So these challenges have underscored the need for a more open and competitive environment, driving us to continue contributing to this TIP, community. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely key in this environment in open and disaggregated networks to collaborate together in order to foster interoperability between the different pieces. It is one of the key areas where most of the TIP programs are focusing, especially OOPT. We need maybe just to add something else on what's going on, what has there being the main activities that are going on in OOPT in order to address these challenges, and what do you expect to be addressing these challenges from the community?
Yeah, look, I mean, from an OOPT perspective, I think, it is actively addressing these challenges through fostering innovation and optimizing transport networks for telecom operators. I mean, I indicated when I spoke about, the challenges earlier on that, there's a challenge of complexity, the multi-vendor, environment, which then makes it important for these networks to be optimized. And I think from an OOPT perspective, we've seen a lot of this, come through. So the project group has a strong focus on continuously developing technical requirements for new disaggregated products. You'd know that most recently the distributed disaggregated backbone routers, or the DDBR as it's known from the community, for PNP routers, and the second release of, the linchpin of this open and disaggregated, which is the DCSG, the disaggregated cell site gateway, version 2.0, come through. This puts paid to, the effort, from, the OOPT PG or project group. Additionally, TIP and OOPT in particular have been actively pushing forward the adoption of open standards and APIs with successful activities, such as, the ones developed by the MAS subgroup that you spoke about, earlier. And perhaps for someone that might be asking themselves, so what is the MAS, subgroup? I think, this is the bedrock. I mean, if you ask me of, OOPT, where we came together to, establish a white paper for standardizing open SDN. So it stands for, can you put?
I can help you on that. It's mandatory use cases for SDN.
Yes. So this is the mandatory. Yeah, this is the mandatory use case for SDN transport, subgroup. So this is a great example that demonstrates how the collaboration between the different service providers and telcos can help, accelerate the development of common technical, requirements, which can facilitate, the adoption by the technology providers.
I think that this last item is key, no? The value of an open community and how much putting together the requirements from different operators, make sure that they are consolidated in a single set and translated into industry is bringing a lot of value for the different stakeholders, including the vendors, because this reduces their complexity in order to address multiple requirements from many operators that they might be slightly different, and they're finding them consolidated in one single activity, no? I am going to spend just a very few time on explaining to the community that through the test and validation program, TIP is fostering this adoption of common technical requirements through the evaluation of the requirements in a sort of RFI format, then goes into the common testing and translating this into certification process in the way of TIP batches. I think that it's important that this process goes smoothly, but also in an uniform way across the different project groups, because this is a way that preserve the value of the community and makes things somehow standard, right?
Yes,
I'm going to
indeed.
go and jumping directly to the next, to the what we are expecting next. As you may know, we have the event of the year, which is called Fuse, sponsored by the Telecom Infra Project in November. And from now on there, what do you expect that is coming next in OOPT and what we are going to see in the event?
Yeah, no, Fuse is exciting. I'm always looking forward, to the Fuse event. I've had the privilege of participating in two of those events, and thank you to TIP, OOPT must, specifically for the opportunities that I've had, to share some of the stories from an MTN, perspective. So this particular one, I think, is also special because it's taking place, in Dublin. The previous ones that I've attended, they've always been in Madrid, Spain. So it will be a change of scenario in a way. We'll miss the food as the theme. So yeah, what am I looking forward to? So at the Fuse event, coming up, I'm looking forward to several key developments and progress from various initiatives. I mean, from the community, we have a couple of, entities, vendors, software vendors, operators, and so forth coming together there. And I think we've seen previously in the Fuse event, some of the knowledge shared, with presentations, panels, etc., demonstrating some of the progress being made in these areas of endeavor within TIP. Most importantly, I hope to see conclusions from the ongoing TIP OOPT RFIs that are going on in earnest around the DDBR-PE and the DCSG 2.0 technical requirements, specifically. Also very excited, about the potential of unveiling the first TIP Gold badge on Phoenix implementation. As you know, here in South Africa, we're playing a key role, and we're hoping, to conclude, that test that we are doing, to validate this through the field trials currently underway, and consequently, be able to see this progress to commercial deployment. So also anticipate insightful presentations, as I indicated, from the industry leaders, offering their vision on the current landscape and outlook for open and disaggregated solutions in the transport, network space. Also looking forward, to seeing the case studies that will be, highlighting efficiencies and economic benefits of disaggregated and distributed, IP router solutions. I think last year, specifically, I had the privilege of attending a number of those, mainly coming from, the vendors leading, the thought leadership. I believe that, being, part of those sessions will be really invaluable, particularly those demonstrating the benefits of reduced power consumption and rack space optimization in a carrier or wholesale networks. And I think, inherently this impacts, the sustainability component, as well, which is very, very important for us from emission reduction, perspective. And finally, I mean, I look forward to engaging in debates, panel discussions to address some of the technical and commercial hurdles that are hindering the adoption of open and disaggregated solutions, fostering deeper understanding and potentially sparking new initiatives to overcome some of these challenges that we've seen come through. Yeah, so that's a bit of a long list of expectations from the fews, but really excited and looking forward to it.
It sounds amazing, and well, first of all, I really hope to see you there in one of the panels as the last couple of years. So I'm publicly inviting you. And well, just to say that the theme of this year is called industrializing open transport. We really look forward to see a step forward from the different parts of the industry on making visible improvements on the commercialization of these solutions. And we are really excited to see all the case studies that are coming from the different partners of OOPT, but also beyond deep activities. So, well, thank you very much, Lloyd. It has been a really privilege to have you today in this interview. I really hope that you enjoyed. And
yeah, no, very much so. Thank you so much. The pleasure is really all mine, Arturo. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, and above all, welcome as a new co-chair of OOPT. Thank you, Lloyd. And
thank you. I take it with a lot of humility. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Bye-bye.